Hey lovelies, Lisa here, and it is day 22 in my Tower month, and it is also my birthday. Bing! Yes, my birthday is falling in my Tower month, and my birthday is the day after solstice. So every year, my birthday announces the steady decline into winter, the dwindling of the light. Yeah. As a sun baby, although I am a Cancer, so I'm a moon child, but I'm a sun baby. As a sun baby, I really, I love the long, long days, and so there is always this pang every year on my birthday. I'm another year older, and summer is already dripping away. Although, I mean, that's so insane because it actually is totally summer. But, that half full glass is always also half empty. And speaking of half empty glasses, so I got back from my training up in Vancouver, Washington, and my husband whisked me off to my birthday dinner, which was a ginormous boat of sushi and some sake. And so I'm a little in my cups, just a little bit, just a little tipsy. I don't advise saying deep things about tarot or endeavoring to do so when you're a little tipsy. So I'll keep this video relatively brief. So here's the thing. From my sister and brother, I got what I had asked for, which is Deck of the Bastard, waterproof edition with the angel bags. And yes, Veronica Jude, if you're watching this, I can't remember when you uploaded. There was a video you uploaded a few years ago where you talk about this deck, this particular deck. And I was like, I want. I'd never really wanted the Deck of the Bastard before then. I got Solabusca Revisited. I'd wanted that. But then I wanted that. And now I have it. With the very same backing you have. And yeah, New Tarot Smell. Although New Tarot Smell with the waterproof cardstock is a little bit weird. But oh my God, this deck shuffles beautifully because I guess it's plastic. I mean, I'm assuming it's plastic. Well, look how bendy it is. Anyway, I won't try to shuffle. Shuffling and sake don't necessarily go together. And the other thing that my brother and sister gave me is they had a little custom bag made for it that said, it looks like they had Elaine Wilkinson design this from my book cover for Mindful Tarot. It's so sweet. Anyway, so, my husband gave me, among other things, he gave me this incredibly beautiful malachite. My friend Lisa gave me, it's the Day of Green Crystals, beautiful green crystals. This gorgeous fluorite from New Mexico. Oh my God. So, yeah, so, gifts. Yeah, it's harder to receive than to give sometimes, and I'm feeling like quite warm and toasty. And I'm also intrigued by the tower in this deck, which I think it must come from the Atea. It's not Soprafino. And I'm intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by the way in which, it's not singular at all, right? And the flames that the towers are being engulfed by are sort of, it's not clear. I mean, are they coming from the sun somehow? It's unclear. It's this flame that just happens to be there. And this sense of the destruction of an entire city almost. Yet there's only one building that has toppled. It reminded me of the ways in which, and this is what I was studying at the training. The training I was doing was on critical incident stress management. So it's the kind of facilitation that you do when a group of people have experienced a powerful event, like a natural disaster or a school shooting, God forbid, or, something like that. And in a hospital setting, it might be sort of a very, very upsetting case that in the emergency room or, in the OR or some incident that happens on in a patient's room or on the floors, and where you're debriefing or you're trying to defuse the situation. And, these group settings where everybody has experienced the same event, but everybody's experience is different. How is it that as individuals, we have our individual experience, but we also find ourselves leaning into, relying upon a community? And will that community support us? Or will everything just go up in flames? I'm just, there are moments where I'm really struck, like my experience yesterday of feeling such exposure, in these many ways, and then thinking about Rapunzel and thinking about what it means to let down your hair, to be willing to be exposed, to risk everything, to enter into the world. And in many ways, that risk is really the risk of acknowledging that the individual is not so individual, that when one tower collapses, the whole city is affected. We're not in this alone. We're not in this alone. And, I've struggled my whole life with feeling alone, yearning to be with others, relying on others, feeling scared of the exposure of being with others, and then feeling the incredible support of community, of Sangha, of coming together in mutuality with others, and that whole sort of cycle of individuation and integration in community. I mean, that to me is kind of what the tarot is all about. The relationship between individuation, becoming an individual, being a self, and the self merging and flowing and being at peace and at ease with our intertwined and interdependent lives. So, it's funny, the Rapunzel story I told you, I realized after I'd filmed it and uploaded it, I realized, there's like this important piece I left out. So, I was telling you about my hair getting cut, and that allowing me, with my long braids, allowing me to kind of have this another stage in maturation. I went to overnight camp, and with my shoulder length hair, and I tried to give myself a nickname. When your name is Lisa and everybody always calls you Lisa and there are a gazillion Lisas in your class, you want a nickname. And so I tried to call myself Freckles. Didn't really take. But at camp, I quickly became the kind of person who would stand up on her chair in the mess hall and happily, when prompted by counselors, tried to lead the entire hall in a song of Sound Off. I don't remember how this started or why I did it, but I gleefully leapt into that volunteer position, and I'm like, sound off. So that's kind of me, like here I am, everybody, here's my people, come on, like trying to motivate everybody and just so loving that stepping forward, both into the limelight, but also like, hey, come on, people, come on, let's rally around, let's sing, sound off, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Little did I realize that would make me a figure of amusement for many people. And so my first really, I'd been teased before. In fact, I'd been bullied before. I was 9 when I first went to summer camp, and I'd been bullied in first grade and second grade, in kindergarten even. But there's something about, a camp of, I don't know how many, 100 girls, all sort of on the edge of puberty. Things can get mean. And they did. Maybe not that first year, but by the time I came back the second year of summer camp, And I also remember, you know, really putting myself out there, and like, I love running and playing, and I just, you know, tried to play so hard and play soccer and all the sports and was not any good at all. And at the end of that very first summer, they gave out awards at like the final banquet. And I remember, like, you know, them calling my name, Freckles. Um, and the award they gave me was the Charlie Brown Award, which is the award for trying really hard but not succeeding. Wah, wah. I was like, I'm not Charlie Brown. So yeah, you know, we're in it together, and yet being in it together may not always feel like success. Community can burn. Individuals may experience the same event in so many different ways. We may come together. We may, in coming together, just realize how far apart we are. And so I guess on this day after the solstice and on my birthday, what I'm feeling is that the tower is about this very human effort to be at ease as both a self and as a member of community. How do we find our way in the world with others? Yeah. May we find ways to lean on each other that are perhaps a little less traumatic than the way this one tower is beginning to lean on the next. All right. In my sake addled state, that's about what I can do tonight. As always, thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. And thank you for your practice.